Masters World Championship. I made a little mistake when I asked MVP who he would like to play. I said Younghwa or Yoda, but it's PartinG and Yoda. So please help me welcome to the stage the first of our two participants, IMLG Yoda. Also, please welcome to the stage his opponent from SK Telecom T1, PartinG. Gentlemen, this is the final battle of the day. Do you have any words for your opponent?
서로에게 하고 싶은 말 있는지.
지게 로봇 떨구지 말고, 그러니까 지게 로봇 세레머니 하지 말고 그냥 서로 편안하게 게임했으면 좋겠어요.
He hopes that he doesn't use mules for his ceremony and wishes to have good games.
And is there anything you would like to say to your opponent?
네, 저도 그냥 후회만 안 했으면 좋겠어요. 후회 없는 게임 하고 싶어요.
He just wants to play good and don't have any regrets.
No regrets. All right, gentlemen, let's hope we have no regrets in this battle. You are the last match of the day. Let's make it an exciting one. I'm handing it back to our experts. Let's get this underway.
Thank you very much, Rachel. It is indeed the last match of the day, but by no means the least. We have a pretty exciting game here. Yoda taking on PartinG. Clash of the Titans here, TVP, but of course, Yoda has MVP to live up to here, and PartinG completely steamrolling his previous engagement with Stefano using the Soul Train, but now he's up against a Terran. What can we expect in this matchup?
3-1 PartinG.
3-1 PartinG. That was very quick. Any particular reason why? Let's dig slightly deeper here.
Well, I watched PartinG versus Yoda at Katowice and was underwhelmed. PartinG basically just demolished him. And then PartinG went on to get demolished by Dream.
Okay.
And history tends to repeat itself. But because it's Heart of the Swarm, that's why I say 3-1 instead of 3-0.
Does that mean then, really quickly, you think that if PartinG advances and eventually plays Dream, that he would lose to him?
Yes.
Yes. All right, and Harstem, what do you reckon is going to happen here?
I don't know. I think Yoda's gonna win, actually.
Okay. Is there any particular reason why you think that?
Yeah, I don't
Winner minds!
Winner minds.
Winner minds is like one of the best reasons, but the other reason being that PartinG didn't play a ton of Heart of the Swarm, or so I've learned today.
Yep.
And Yoda, I think, has. His build looked pretty crisp, especially against Protoss, so yeah, I feel like it's going to be a good match, and Yoda's gonna win 3-2 or 3-1.
I'll bet dinner on it.
Oh, this just got serious.
No.
No. Oh. Guys, that just got deflating. All right. PartinG versus Yoda is beginning right here, right now. The last match of the day. Your commentators for this are Kalaris and Todd.
Thanks very much, guys. Game number 1 on the way between Yoda and PartinG here. Daybreak will be our first map. And interestingly, every single televised match that happened between PartinG and Yoda during Wings of Liberty, PartinG won. Not dropped a single map.
Every televised match?
Every single one. There was only 4, admittedly. But still, that's every single one.
All right. PartinG is going to be confident heading into this, but let's get started with the introduction first.
Thank you very much, as we do have spawning up to the top right-hand corner here as our blue Terran. He goes by the name of LGIM's Yoda. And spawning down to our bottom left-hand corner here as the red Protoss. He goes none other by the name of PartinG.
And Yoda is a macro monster. We all know that he macros like nobody else. I'm almost tempted to say he macros even better than MVP, the man himself. But PartinG, he laid a smackdown on Stefano earlier today. He looked invincible as well. I mean, he looked very impressive. Now, this is a PVT, so this is going to be another matchup. But, you know, PartinG is considered the best PVT on Wings of Liberty. So how does he transition from there on Heart of the Swarm? We are going to find out. He's one of the best Templar players there is out there, and you know, I've been basically begging for it. I want to see some Templar, Zealot, Stalker action to try to defend against the Medivacs, assuming we're going to see them.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong there with PartinG being the king of PvT and Wings of Liberty. He had every single trick up his sleeve. Even when you least thought it, he would just go for, you know, immortal busts and try and trounce his opponent there very, very quickly. There's even times where he went into long macro games and just every single angle was covered. But can he deal with the potential pressure here from Yoda in the form of those speed medevacs?
Yeah. PartinG and Creator, actually, both of them, they are both the best player in PvT, but they have a different style. Creator, he will go with the double Forge and Colossus play, whereas PartinG, almost always playing Templars, one of the first players to really spread them out a lot on the map and do some great storms, coming from everywhere at the Terran, basically using the fact that Terran, they don't have much vision when they move out. I mean, they are going to scan where they think the Protoss army is, but if you have Templars everywhere out on the map, how can Terran see the Templars and the storms coming then?
Yeah, not too much opportunity for that at all, unless they litter everywhere with scans. Crazy option there for a Terran, as they just want to eke out as many mules as they possibly can get away with, to be honest with you. So for now, just second pylon on the way here for PartinG, or even third. And with that, you know, he's just cranking out a very, very standard opener here, getting his cybernetics core up and running. And Yoda, well, he's saving up quite a lot of money, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a command center pretty soon.
Yeah, Yoda, he's going to see that there is no gas here out of PartinG. He's going to know he's safe against any kind of Oracle play, and he should know that this is either a 4-gate or a Nexus. Almost always will be a Nexus here out of PartinG. Yoda is going for the reactor, the command center, and I think he's going to follow this up very quickly with a factory.
Curiously, where is that probe going? Down to the bottom right-hand corner, the sneaky little probe. I mean, you could use it for scouting later on, maybe to try and spot the command center. Might be a little bit of an opportunity to do so, but at the same time, he could easily proxy something if he wanted to. It would be a bit weird, but nah, he's just going to go for the scout here. But that Marine should be able to shut him down, actually.
And PartinG is actually going to go for a very quick mothership core here. I mean, in Wings of Liberty, a lot of the time you see Protosses trying to go for that Zealot, that Stalker, and following this up with a Sentry. So now, with that 100 gas, instead of going for a Sentry, you're going to see a lot of Protoss players going for that mothership core to just be able to go around, charge up on energy, and have a photon overcharge ready.
And it's a good job here that PartinG actually was able to spot that factory, knowing that that is the case, as opposed to just a ton of barracks actually going down behind what we would assume to be a command center first here, or at least PartinG would, is very, very important information, as he does grab one or two Widow Mines here. Will he be able to make any more? But for now, PartinG, he's already cruising up to Robo facility. He wants to know exactly what is going on in his opponent's base, and look how cheeky Yoda is with that third sneaky command center.
Yeah, that is so fast, and I'm actually surprised that he puts it down there. Usually when you see Terrans do this, they will place it, for example, on the top left expansion, which is one expansion almost no Protoss will scout at this point in the game. But yeah, very ballsy move here out of Yoda. He's going to have mines. He knows he's facing a quick Nexus here. He should be fine.
Yeah. And Yoda too, whilst actually going for that third command center, he sent a Marine all the way around the bottom side of the map near his potential fourth, just to make sure there was no probes there to actually spot that. So really good scouting by Yoda here to make sure that that is not going to be spotted for a while. And at the same time, even when this observer comes out from PartinG, it's unlikely that he's going to see that. He'll probably end up sending it right up to the main to see exactly what tech his opponent's going for.
Yeah, and I love that he has the mothership core in position in the main. A quick medivac drop will come just around 7 minutes, so you know we were at 7:12 when it got there, and he already had a photon overcharge ready to help and defend. He sent his first observer there to just make sure for some time that he does not get dropped and have to lose a couple probes if that were to happen. But PartinG now realizing he's safe, he's going to send his first observer forward, and he should be able to scout exactly what's going on in Yoda's base in a second. And Yoda going for a second factory here.
So maybe we're going to see either a lot of Hellion or Widowmine production. A lot of Widowmine production would be extremely exciting to see here from Yoda. As for now, he sees everything that's going on. He sees the second factory. It could even technically be siege tanks, as he does. Wow, nice little spot there to actually go down for the scan and kill that off.
Or maybe some big Hellbat bio push. Who knows? He's going to fly his first factory away from that reactor. And I mean, he has a lot of options right now because he's took this such a quick third base. He's going to have a great economy here in a minute.
Oh, I was going to say...
it was a mistake, actually.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as he flew it away to actually plant the reactor down, I'm like, well, why is he removing from a reactor to make a reactor? And he thought it was a starport this whole time. So a little bit of a slip up there from Yoda. Whilst PartinG behind this is going to go for double forge, crank out those upgrades really, really fast to compete with Yoda, who only has one engineering bay down right now.
PartinG is my man. He's going for Twilight Council. I've been asking for it. First game, he gives it to me. Thanks, PartinG. I just want to see how he deals with all of those medivacs. He's going to see in a second the third base of Yoda, and he's not going to be very happy about this.
And with that, a charge is on the way as well for Yoda at PartinG even. So the exact tactic that you wanted is now on the way. How will PartinG continue this? For now, well, this is a pretty healthy Bioforce out. The medevacs are delayed a little bit, unfortunately, for Yoda, thanks to the fact that that second factory was mistakenly planted down. But Yoda is going to have a phenomenal economy behind this. And PartinG still has no clue, but he has gone up to 8 gateways here.
Yeah, which is standard on 2 bases because he's not using his robo. And you know, he sent a probe out of his third. The Widowmine detonated and killed it, so now he's going to have to send an observer, and most likely he has to send some Stalker, but he has no Stalker except one at the Watchtower here. So he's going to send some Zealots and Sentries. He could hallucinate a unit, have the mine detonate, and then demine, basically.
I think one of the interesting things is if Yoda realizes that his opponent, you know, he killed an observer. If he kills other observers, if he spots other observers and they keep getting replenished, Yoda has to be thinking, well, you know, if you've only got Robo, and you're only making observers, and I haven't spotted any other tech, then it must be Templar Archives, because you're using all the time from your Robo facility on observers.
And PartinG is about to have Stormy. I think we're going to have a big drop, maybe. And you're totally right. I think Yoda in a second here is going to realize he's facing Storm, but he can still be aggressive if he's careful.
He's looking to try and find a little bit of a route in. I think it might end up just being a big drop, but at the same time, he has to be very careful of those High Templars just sat on the edge of the base here. PartinG is completely ready for this. The medevacs are just going to go for... Ooh, dear me, he sees it with the vision. He didn't see the High Templars with the scan, but he saw them with the medevacs, and he knows that PartinG is well ready for this, but he's just going to go for it anyway. He's actually just going to drop straight on the entirety of the army. Storms go down, as well as the Photon Overcharge here, trying to beat this back, but there's so much bio that it's too fast. He can't deal with it at this point. There's still Time Warp here. The Mothership Core had a lot of energy, and he does prevent quite a lot of damage actually from being done there. Good defense by PartinG.
Yeah, nice Photon Overcharge use here, and the second Storm was really bad. I mean, he stormed his own assimilator. He didn't hit any units of Yoda here, and behind this Yoda, he has his third. He's had his third for a long time. Oh,
he's going to go for it again here. He doesn't have that many units. Photon Overcharge is still active though, so one Marine. Poor guy. Well, he gets left there, gets sliced up, and even falls off the cliff.
What those medivacs achieve basically is that they never let the Protoss leave the base without having it unpunished.
Yeah.
And we have some more medivacs near the third of PartinG here. I think they should be able to get the cancel, which will cause for PartinG to most likely go for the counterattack.
And Yoda here, he's actually drawn his opponent's entire army way out of position, so then he can try and go for another drop at the same time. But that's going to be spotted by an observer, and he has been able to deny his opponent's third. And you've got to remember, during all of this, Yoda still has a great economy. He's at 72 workers to 49 right now, and he's really, really drawing PartinG thin, even on 2 bases.
And the counterattack, I mean, PartinG, he really wants to counterattack right now, but he has only 2 Templars with his main army. As more medivac action, he's headed towards PartinG.
Those feedbacks, they just barely do not kill these medevacs here. Zealot swap in, but that's not going to be enough to actually deal with that. He actually might be able to get the Templar Archives as well here, as Yoda still piles on the pressure in the main. Is he going to be able to kill it off those Zealots? And he actually needs to pick them up and put them on the other side of the pylons, but for now he's pushing into the front as well. Just action everywhere. PartinG realizes that this is going to be the only thing he can actually do to deal with this. A great amount of storms actually go down there and shred up a lot of that bio. PartinG's army is really strong at the front. And it looks like he's actually continuing to push on the force fields, the storms, all the SCVs in a lot of trouble. This army with the storms is doing so much here for PartinG.
And yeah, PartinG just counterattacking here. So far, he's not doing too bad, actually. It looks like he might go through. He's defended back at home. There is no units left in his base of Yoda. And PartinG is killing so much. Could he make this work here?
Wow, this insane move out, just as throwing caution to the wind whilst medevacs were still present at either side of his base. He's warping in a ton more units as well here. Hellbats are trying to deal with this, but there's just a huge, huge amount of Zealots barreling down on this entrance. He's sat on all the production facilities. Yoda can't do anything but just try and rally everything out. There you go, GG for game number 1. PartinG.
I warned you, didn't I? I told you, Templars, Zealots, Stalkers.
You told us, Todd.
Mothership core to defend, and PartinG, the man himself, showing us how to do it.
I actually, if every PVT ends up like this from now on in Heart of the Swarm, I don't think my voice is going to cut it, because there's just drops all the time, there's just aggression all the time. PVT has become one of the most insane matchups in terms of just constant aggression, constant attacking, constant defending. It's pretty interesting to watch.
Indeed, it is.
All right, guys, we are going to send it over to our analysis desk with QXE, Harstem, and Jorasar.
Thank you very much, Kalaris. PartinG taking a 1-0 lead here early on against Yoda. And we saw that in that game that PartinG effectively moved out. Yoda saw the opportunity to move in with his drops, got the third cancelled, got the Templar Archives in the natural as well, but the army from PartinG just proved to be too strong.
Yeah, I felt like Yoda could have used a few bunkers at least. There were no ghost outs really, and if you're playing against Archon, High Templar, Charge Lot, you either need Ghost to defend or bunkers, or a ton of Widow Mines would have been good as well, but he didn't really have one of those, so he did see that it was a really late third base for PartinG, and I think he should have been able to tell that there was a lot of gateways behind this, and PartinG would go into a heavy aggression.
Yep. Well, let's go into the replay here. We're going to take a look at kind of Yoda's strategic decisions at this point in time. So if we take a look at Yoda's vision, he's got these 3 medevacs here. He's got 2 medevacs there. Then he's got his third, which is close to saturated, his natural, which is oversaturated, and his main. So he's pretty much got all the SCVs he needs. He needs to start pumping out units. So he knows that PartinG's third is either, well, he scouted at some point, so he knows it's relatively late. And what he really wanted to do at this point was just deny the third with 1 or 2 medevacs and then play defensive and hold his 3 base. As we can see in the replay, he decides to, this is kind of an overcommitting of these 3 medevacs. And these 2 medevacs, this may have been a little too much committed here. Maybe just 1 medevac would have been enough to force the cancel. Once you're in this position, you have 3 full mining bases versus just 2 bases of your opponent. This is absolutely a spot where you can just go home, defend, hold your 3 bases, and the game should swing in your favor relatively quickly because of that huge economic advantage.
Yeah, if you really do want to do a drop, then do it in the main and get back those 2 medevacs that just canceled the third. I don't feel it was necessary to go into the natural. If you're up so many workers, you're up a base, you don't really need to do more economic damage. It's nice that he killed the Templar Archives, but it wasn't necessary.
I think it would have been good. I think it was a good decision to move the medevacs from the third into the natural so that they were at least forcing warp-ins back home, because the time it would take for those units to get back to Yoda's main to actually be helpful in defending would have been too long compared to the time to just move up into the natural and start killing probes, or at least force a big warp-in.
So you would say that the 3 medevacs that were going into the main?
Those were too much. Those should have been back home, but the medevac or 2 medevacs that were denying the third, that was a good idea to force PartinG basically into an all-in situation. Once you deny the third, you've got units on his side of the map. Why not attack him anyway? But everything else absolutely had to be at home. He needed bunkers. He needed to hold those 3 bases and then go into a composition that dealt with what PartinG was doing.
Okay.
All right, guys, so we're going to be going into game number 2, which will be on Ohana in just a moment. We'll get to see this, of course, in high definition all week, courtesy of Ben Q. Thank you very much for that. For now, though, we're going to throw it over to our commentators. We have Kalaris and Todd.
Thanks very much, guys. Game number 2, loading up and good to go. PVT here.
Ohana, man.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about it earlier. Definitely one of the better maps to try and defend against this medevac play. I expect nothing else than the same thing out of PartinG. I mean, he's won with it. It's his best style, and I think we're going to see it again.
It's very, very strong. And will this man, spawning down in the bottom right-hand corner, be able to break that defense? Spawning as the blue Terran here, he goes by the name of LGIM's Yoda. And spawning up to the top left-hand corner as our red Protoss, currently 1 game up against the Medevac Whirlwind. He goes by the name of PartinG.
An interesting pylon placement, just right behind his mineral line here. Shouldn't mean too much. I mean, against Terran, you're not really going to open Forge, so should be a gateway there, but why place it here? Curious already as to what PartinG, how PartinG is going to open in this game. As Yoda goes for the quick depot at his ramp, we remember in the previous game he tried for the quick wall off and he took a gas.
I'm always a little bit scared of when Protoss put buildings in the back of the mineral line against Terran, because if you put too many around there and then the Terran somehow wiggles their way in, drops a few units in there, you're trying to defend it with zealots, with charge, it can be very hard to actually navigate that that kind of sim city that you've created for yourselves, while Marines and Marauders are actually firing from the back.
Yeah, if there is like a place where units can drop and be untouched from Zealot, it would be pretty bad, obviously. But this is PartinG we're watching, man. It's not going to happen.
Isn't it? Oh, okay, thanks for the reassurance there, Todd. As for now, we do have a little bit of a poke up here for PartinG. Going to zap away at that supply depot, but should not be able to kill it. Although he's a few zaps away.
Yeah, ooh, Yoda, what are you doing?
Why is he not zapping it more? He should zap it more. He would have killed that. I'm pretty sure well, or at least forced to cancel. I'm pretty sure he would have got it.
And we have a Reaper going down first for Yoda. This is going to take some time. Reaper, you need 45 seconds to make them, as opposed to a Marine that takes 25 seconds. But, you know, PartinG, he's not going to hang in there for too long. He's going to get out with his probe, and we might see a proxy pylon. He's getting behind these bushes over here. In the meantime, he's adding on a second gas. He's going to start mining 3+3. I think he realizes that Yoda didn't scout here. And we might have a proxy Stargate and some oracles in this game.
And we could do. That has been a very fearsome tactic here from Protoss. I've also seen proxy Stargate into Void Rays as well. And he's not mining any gas right now. So, you know, he's just going for one Reaper. He's probably going to go for an expansion off. Oh, he already is going for an expansion off the back of this. Well, you know, this is not the most amazing. He's going for a tech lab as well.
Why? He's not even mining gas anymore. I'm assuming he will resume that, but this is just so weird play by Yoda.
It's Proxy Robo. It's Proxy Robo, Todd.
Oh, okay. So not going to see a Stargate here, and Yoda should be able to get away with that one Reaper. He's going to be able to really understand right now that, I mean, if by 5 minutes you don't have a Nexus at the expansion, there might be an all-in coming. Because even if you go for 2 gas, you can still throw down that Nexus at 448, 445, so...
Wait, is that Reaper going to find it? I think this Reaper is certainly going to find it. Oh my god! Oh, he finds it.
And he doesn't show that he found it. He's going to wait until the Robo finishes, and I think he's going to snipe the pilot. No, wait, what is he doing? He's going home.
Well,
maybe he didn't see it. Oh, and now he realizes.
Yeah, he realizes. I mean, the big red blob on his map. He can just send a few Marines over there, but it's going to be Immortals to try and bust this location on one base. How many gateways does he have back at home? He has one. He's going to add on a second. And
Yoda is headed. Yoda is headed to kill this pylon. Why is he not attacking it with the Reaper as well? He really wants to keep control of that watchtower. And we have PartinG sending an extra probe over there to make an extra pylon just in case this happens. But I mean, he has no units nearby, and he cannot warp just yet to help save this.
I think maybe he assumed it might have been a warp prism, because with an Immortal there, that actually pushes those Marines back. And there's no way that those Marines could have actually handled it. So maybe he was thinking it was like a warp prism 4-gate trying to hide the Robo facility or something like that. But 3 Marines just does not cut that at all.
And PartinG was about to make a 4th gate in his main, but he did not. He's on 17 mineral probes right now, as Yoda is adding on a lot of bunkers. He stopped. Actually, no, he's still making SCVs. I definitely think he should quit for now and get maybe a couple turrets and more Bioforce bunkers everywhere.
Does this really work for PartinG, though? With 3 bunkers down, is this actually going to be able to work? He's going to have, what, 2 Immortals and then the Gateway Force. So I don't know if he's able to actually break this location here.
And PartinG, he hasn't resumed pro production, so he really is all-in here. I mean, he's committing himself a lot. He's only on 3 gates, and he's only going to have 2 Immortals. I don't know why he made an Observer behind this. He's actually making Stalkers now, when you're supposed to have a lot of Zealots to tank here. I think he might just try to force field behind this first bunker and kill everything that's in it without having the other bunkers shooting here.
Yeah, Yoda's defense here can be very, very strong indeed. Force fields are going to be pivotal. That one bunker is going to go down really, really fast thanks to those Immortals. That one falls down. Still 16 Marines alive during all of this. And the majority of the damage is only being taken by bunkers so far. So many Marines still out and about, 15 in total. Going to push this back along with SCV support here. So PartinG is being pretty shut down very, very hard as the first Immortal does fall. Second one almost fell as well. And all he has to do is keep rallying out the Marines, I feel.
And that was so smart by PartinG. It was the best thing he could do.
Oh, second Immortal gets sniped on out there from the high ground. That's a big loss there to PartinG, but PartinG has actually forced him away, and because he's forced him up the ramp, if he has force fields, he can control this natural area for quite a long time.
Yeah, PartinG, he killed the bunkers, and then there is only Marines. He can just turn a step, keep on shooting with those Stalkers and pulling back, but Runner is committed.
Oh, well, Stim's finished up, guys, and that is going to shred up these Stalkers pretty well, but still, I mean, the Marines are actually falling down. PartinG has now found himself with a 10 supply lead here. 18 workers to 24. PartinG in the lead right now, and he's going to almost supply block Yoda there. So he needs to reproduce those supply depots pretty darn fast, but the starport is now finished, and, well, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. He needs medevacs out so fast here.
Yeah, he's going to start making the first one of them, and the barracks is going to die before Concussive Shell can finish. And I think Yoda wants to engage here, but he realizes he cannot really.
How on earth is PartinG making this work? Well, all the SCVs still coming off here, trying to tank as much damage as they can do. Stim has gone down. He's going to kill off quite a few Stalkers in the process. If he can just focus down SCVs from this point on, though, he's 23 workers to 10 right now. Yoda's economy is going to be in tatters. Admittedly, he has 2 command centers, so he can replenish quite fast.
Yeah, they have actually quite a lot of energy. I mean, his economy is in the toilet right now, but he can remake it.
Oh. And he's just focusing them down. He's just bringing down all the SCVs, bringing down the Marauder as well. GGO from Yoda. Oh, PartinG even. Victory, IEM Yoda. All right, then. Did that?
Yeah, Yoda won. he was killing everything at the end. PartinG only had a couple of Stalkers left.
I guess so. I still think he could have gone on a little bit longer, but it would have been hard to come back.
He was committed. He overcommitted in the last fight. I still think he could keep on stutter stepping, shoot, going back, every time with his Stalkers and reduce the army of his opponent. But in the end, Yoda was able to overcome, and the score is going to be 1-1 here.
Yeah. Very, very nice little hold there. Although PartinG, I thought he did pretty well in busting that location for a good portion of time. But guys, we're going to send it over to the analysis desk with QXE, Harstam, and Jorisar.
Well, there's certainly no shortage of excitement here at the Intel Extreme Masters. Game number 2 and a proxy robo from PartinG there. Harstam, we were talking a little bit about what the reasons behind the proxy robo were. I believe you summarized them quite nicely.
Yeah, I think he might have had this build planned, but only if there was no SCV scout. Yep. If there's an SCV scout and he sees double gas, I think it's pretty easy to hold. And even without scouting the double gas, he held it well, I would say. 3 bunkers, Fort added a little bit later, and then, yeah, just pulling the SCVs to fight with his army.
Yeah.
All right. Now,
the key in holding this was really the Reaper seeing it on the map. Like, even though he didn't get into the base and see the double gas or a missing pylon, once you see the robo, you pretty much know what it is, and then he follows that up with a little bit of Marine pressure. Once you see the Immortal, you absolutely know what it is. If it had been a War Prism, then all of a sudden it could be DTs, it could be a 4-gate. There's a lot of different things. But once you see an Immortal, boom. Mortal bust, you start building bunkers at your front, you fortify, and you get ready.
And we're going to be taking a look at exactly what happens after that, guys. We're going to jump into the replay at around the 8-minute 30-second mark. This is after the bunkers got taken down at the natural expansion. The orbital is flying on its way to the main.
So the key here for PartinG is he's got to do a significant amount of damage before medevacs are out. That's when this army is most vulnerable. Every stim is going to reduce the effectiveness of this army by a huge amount. Marines aren't going to be able to be super effective against these Stalkers, particularly when he does not have concussive shell, he does not have combat shield. Yoda recognizes this. He brings some of his SCVs here and kind of holds the top of his ramp. I really would have liked to have seen Yoda actually just lift this barracks off and move it, and that would have allowed him to establish a concave at the top of this ramp. As it stood right now, there was no real easy way to make that happen because of the barracks in the tech lab being in the way. At this point, PartinG pushes in, trying to finish the game here, does not have any energy left for his force field, and doesn't really stutter step. We would have liked to have seen a little bit more stutter stepping here, poking off some of the SCVs. but it just wasn't there.
Yeah, I also felt like if there was a pylon a little bit closer that could have warped in 3 or 4 zealots to tank for the Marines, it would have been much better.
Yeah, zealots are a tremendous help. They're so good. This is kind of for those of you who have been watching over the course of the weekend in some of the TVZs, we talked about how Hydralisks need roaches to buffer. They need the units that have lots of hit points. It's the same thing in this situation. Stalkers need zealots.
Yeah, especially against Terran. If there are 1 or 2 Marauders out, they just rip apart Stalkers.
Yep. Marauders, of course, doing that bonus damage against Stalkers. Zealots able to soak that. Not only do Zealots have a lot of hit points for their cost, but they're also not taking that bonus damage from the Marauders. Allows them to take a lot of damage, and the Stalkers to continue to deal it.
All right, guys. So that means that we have a score line of 1-all here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. Let's see what these players will be able to do in game number 3. Throwing it over to our commentators, we have Kalaris and Todd.
Thanks, guys. Game number 3 now on the way here at Cloud Kingdom, as we will have Yoda and PartinG on the way here for game number 3. And Todd, going into game 3, Cloud Kingdom, how are you liking this map for the HOTS?
Well, I like it pretty much, but it's definitely harder on Cloud Kingdom rather than Ohana to really be able to defend against those medivac drops that we've seen in every single game.
Yeah.
PartinG, as I said in the second game, I was expecting him to go again for the same strategy that won him the first one. He tried for some all-in type of build. It didn't work out in the end. He's going to have to do something different here, as Yoda is too smart to fall for that.
Some risque play. I kind of got carried away in the moment there. That was like, what? But no, we are now on to game number 3 here as PartinG Yoda tying up the series 1-1. That is the first game that Yoda has ever taken off PartinG in televised play. As for now, we jump on in to Cloud Kingdom here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. Second quarterfinal here between 2 Koreans. There's only 1 foreigner left in the form of Liquid Rats. But for now, we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner as our blue Terran. He goes by the name of LGIM's Yoda. And spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner as our red Protoss, we have PartinG.
And PartinG with the ballsy all-in in the second game, almost making it work. It was very, very close, but in the end, Yoda with the nice hold. 1-1 score. PartinG is going to want to look to really seal, not this series, but his advantage here by winning this game. It's very important. You don't want to fall 1-2 after winning the first game. I expect PartinG to play his best style here once again, and that style is his Templar, Zealot, Stalker, with some Forge, either 1 or 2. On this map, it's going to be harder to defend against those medivacs, as I said, because you have that big cliff slash hill between your main and your third, and it's very easy for Terran to navigate around there to really drop. We saw a game earlier where some Terran even picked up his units and flew over the Protoss army and then dropped in the main.
MVP versus Grubby.
Yes, and from there, it's just so hard for a Protoss player if you're out of position to defend against this. So Yoda is opened very similarly, whereas, I mean, he went for the wall where he's not going to let PartinG get in. I'm pretty sure he's going to be more careful with his depot this time. And he actually goes for the gas again behind this. I thought he was going to play the mind game here and just throw down the command center in his main, but no, he likes his opener. He's going to go for it again.
Yep, and the Pro B going to zap away at the initial supply depot, but for now, a second SCV on the way to be able to start that one off. And, I mean, with that, I have to agree with you about PartinG's choice of strategy here. Going for the High Templars is going to make it a lot easier to try and defend along that cliff. It can be an absolute hazard, this map, if people aren't able to track down and really, really keep lock on those medevacs. So for now, we'll see if PartinG is going to opt for that. And, you know, considering how well it went in Game 1, I wouldn't be surprised.
I like how you say he's going to zap something. We call them the tasers in France.
The tasers? Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. I like the tasers. Now, still Stalker on the way. He does see the gas, but that's pretty much a given here. And, well, Reactor going to go down on this barracks once again for Yoda. Well, not once again. He only went for the Tech Lab the second time, but Probe still sharking around in the middle of the map for PartinG. Really just having to... I wonder what he's up to with this probe again. He's probably just going to use it to spot a command center later on, I guess.
PartinG is going to throw down his first Nexus here. And, oh, he's going again for the Mothership Core behind his probes. He's actually getting... He's got 18 probes, 18 mineral probes before that. Oh, I guess that's pretty standard. He's going to go for the second gas very quickly here. And, I mean, this is pretty good of an opener right now for PartinG. This is the one gate opener from Wings of Liberty. Instead of doing the sentry, you're going to replace that with the Mothership Core behind to be really safe. And we should be seeing a Robo, 2 additional extra gates behind this, unless he tries to go for something funky, say maybe a Twilight Council. But I think, okay, at least one gate goes down.
And I think it's good here for PartinG that he actually picked up this SCV that was trawling around on his side of the map, because you never know when a Terran nowadays can, like, for example, proxy a starport to the point where they're starting making medevacs, then trying to lift up either Widow Mines and Hellions into that place. But for now, it looks like PartinG is going to apply a little bit of pressure here with the Stalker and Mothership Core. I think he just really wants to see if there's an expansion there more than anything, and he's going to try and shark around here with the Mothership Core to get confirmation of that, and yes, he does.
Yeah, he's going to see it, and I think... okay, Yoda, he should have seen it. That I mean, that PartinG saw that with his SCV, but I'm not sure because the Mothership Core was just right above those mountains by the expansion of Yoda. PartinG, he's gone for 2 more gates, 1 Robo behind this, and yeah, we're going to see both players stabilize. But Yoda, he's getting some very quick medivacs this game because he's only been on 1 barracks, and he's going to start getting some mines and then a starport. This is actually... This is MVP's opener. We saw MVP use this earlier against Mana, getting those super fast medivacs just right after getting the orbital command.
Now, where does he go with this? Does he drop the Marines or does he actually drop Widow Mines to actually be annoying? Both. Okay. Well, we covered all the bases. That is going to be quite lethal indeed. Those Widow Mines are going to cause him a lot of problems. But PartinG has opened with Robo Facility, so he does have that Observer on the way to be able to deter this a little bit, or at least go for the cleanup.
And 2 mines, 4 Marines were loaded up in a medivac. It's headed for PartinG's base right now, and PartinG is going to need some very quick use of Photon Overcharge if he wants to be able to defend. He has a second Observer on the way. The first Observer is on the way to Yoda's base. He's going to have to react very quickly here.
Yeah, he's getting a second one in production here, as well as throwing one Forge down in the back. Is he going to go for a second one? Yes, he does. So double Forge play here, but the Igniters do occur, Afterburners even, and for now, just going to drop 1 Widow Mine in there and get on out. Just needs to bring the Observer over there and should be able to clean that up.
And where is his Observer? The second one. I'm pretty sure he was making a second one.
It's right next to the probes, and he's going to head over there for now.
Okay.
There we go, he sees it.
To be able to get rid of that 1 mine. Yoda getting out of here as soon as he saw the Photon Overcharge. Very smart move. He's going to go for the drop in the expansion. Photon Overcharge is 100 energy, and PartinG behind this, he does not have a second Photon Overcharge.
So he's just going to drop that other Widow Mine again. He's doing a great job of here of actually just shutting down those the mining locations. He's not really doing direct damage. It's more indirect in the fact that right now, Yoda is substantially ahead of PartinG in terms of that income for just a bit.
And Yoda behind this is not really making anything right now. I mean, he's macroing, making some bio, some medivacs, but he hasn't decided whether or not he wants to go for 2 extra barracks or a 3rd command center first. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a 3rd command center here, as he's already applying some pressure. He has medivacs. He's going to be looking to keep on doing just that. Whereas PartinG, he's gone for 2 forges, and he's getting both a robotics bay as well as a Twilight Council in his main. So as far as his options go here, he can pretty much go for anything he wants, but his Stalker count is very low. He's going to have to make choices here.
I really like the idea of getting the Robo Bay on this map against Terran, because then you can, you know, negate that cliff in between the bases. But at the same time, if your Colossi actually waddle too far towards drops, then they get caught without any gateway support, and that can be a little hectic. And he is getting that first one on the way. Also, the Twilight Council going to line up nicely once he actually starts 2-2 as well on those double forges. But for now, Yoda is looking to put on some pressure.
And Yoda has made up his mind. He started a 3rd command center. In the meantime, he's going to start to drop in PartinG's base here.
Yeah, and those 3 medevacs going to unload very, very quickly. Photon Overcharge instantaneously on this Nexus, but I mean, his army is way out of position here. He could try and focus this down. Actually, I think he might just bring it down before anything actually gets here. This is catastrophic for our Protoss player, as that is going to burn down, and from that point on, he's just going to say goodbye.
And PartinG here, Oh, we have some Marines in the expansion here. Almost got in there, but force field were used, and he's going to drop right back in there.
And this is where the strength of Terran really is very, very evident here right now. Very, very strong multi-pronged attacks, really, really stretching PartinG thin. And now, I mean, his income is going to be so waning in comparison to the Terrans that it's hard for him to actually try and do something here. I think he has to go for some kind of weird counter.
Okay, PartinG took his time, but he finally remade the Nexus in his main. He started 2 extra gates as well. A little bit of a weird choice when your economy is in such a bad shape to go for extra gates, but I guess he didn't need them. And oh, where is the mothership core going?
Well, it's going to die from a medevac, the Viking apparently.
A recall, I think, on time.
Ah, yeah, maybe. Let's run away. Yeah. Just get away.
Let's just say that with 30 hit points and 3 energy, it's not going to do much more in this game. We have PartinG going for the Templar Archives here. I think he's going to want to look to stabilize, get a couple Templars out with Storm, and try to take a third, if Yoda allows him, that is.
That's the thing. How does he stabilize with Yoda now producing with 3 command centers and just getting the equivalent macro behind that in terms of his infrastructure? I think it's going to be really hard because Yoda's not going to let up with this medevac aggression, and getting a third is going to be really, really difficult.
But PartinG is not actually doing that bad on the economy. He's on 1,000 income right now. Yoda almost at 3,000, but he does have mules. As we're about to have another drop in the main, we have a couple Zealots ready and some Stalkers here.
Yep, that one feedback could be quite useful. There's quite a lot of energy on that one. He could kill the first one. Yes, he does. Smashes that down into the ground. And for now, Yoda decides he'll retreat for now.
And PartinG chooses to go for a charge before going for Storm. Okay, he's finally going to start Storm. He has 2-2 on the way, so I don't know how, but somehow, I mean, he's still in this game. He's not going to rush in and try to kill his opponent when there is the threat of medevac dropping in his base at any moment. But Yoda is moving out with a huge force right now. He's up to 67 army supply to the 53 of PartinG, and Storm is nowhere near finished here. Can he buy enough time before this attack hits?
Very interesting that Yoda here is going for the armor for Mechanair as, whoa, wait a minute, that one Colossus is going to get absolutely shredded very, very quickly here. There's nothing to actually deny the Vikings at all anyway. Yoda, 140 supply up right now. Good feedbacks will deal a good amount of damage to the longevity of this bio, but still, that bio army, well, it's going to have to retreat for now. That's quite a strong army PartinG as well.
The Zealots chasing on this Bioforce, but Yoda is just going to be able to get out of here. Oh, as we had a couple of Vikings landing in the main here for a second.
I guess that's why he wanted the armor, so that he could tank more taser shots. But it's not done just yet. As for now, 2-2 is on the way for both players. We'll finish up for PartinG in just a little bit. But again, you know, the supply differences are really, really big. But 20 of that is in workers right now for Yoda, as he's 70 workers to the 54 of his opponents. So it's not as big a difference in terms of army, but Yoda is just in such a comfortable position here.
And look at Yoda's macro. He has barracks all over the place. Oh, a couple of Vikings are going to be caught all the way down here, and 3 of them will die.
Kaboom.
Look at Yoda's amounts of barracks. He has so many of them. He's macroing perfectly. This guy should max his credit cards every single time. He never has money, man.
And 9 barracks actually producing a ton of Marines, as well as even Ghosts now moving into the fray after realizing that the High Templars could become an extreme threat here. But even still, just EMPing that entire army, vaporizing those Archons very, very quickly, and diminishing those shields on the Zealots is going to be so, so useful. And even the Hellbats now waddling on in. This is going to be a bit of a massacre if he's not careful, especially if Yoda can actually control properly. Storm goes down. He does catch quite a bit of the army, as well as the second Storm, but really doesn't do the damage that it needs to here against that Bioforce, and that third Storm does actually catch a lot of it. He can fall back for now, and there's not that much Bio still pursuing, but those Marauders are really having a field day with that Archon.
And very decent Storm, but I mean, PartinG is down to 40 army supply to the 84 of Yoda. I mean, numbers speak for themselves as well, and Yoda is just gonna keep on reinforcing. Look at the minimap. There's just so many units streaming in right now. I don't think PartinG can hold that, and if he loses his third, he's gonna lose the game with it.
Just a complete surge of units on the way there. Yeah, go. GG! Yoda takes the lead 2-1 in this best of 5, and in an absolute commanding position with these drops, sniping out that Nexus so rapidly. And PartinG just had no income from that point on in comparison to Yoda.
Yeah, and you know, I used to think that Gas First is the best build for Terran versus Protoss right now in Heart of the Swarm, but MVP, he came up with this build, which he used against Mana, which he had success with. Now, he talked to Yoda before the last game, and Yoda, using MVP's build, opening really nicely, safely, and just dominating against PartinG.
So that's going to do it for game number 3, guys. We'll send it over to the analysis desk with Jorasar, Harstam, and QXE.
Yoda takes the lead 2-1 with that victory on Cloud Kingdom. Like the commentators were mentioning, QXE Yoda using his MVP-esque build there to try and take apart PartinG, and he successfully did that.
Yeah, and I really like this transition out of this build much more than the one he used in the first game. The first game transition was more of a fast 3 command center, and this was more a you're still going 15 gas, you're still getting a relatively early first command center, but then you're going into 2-base bio Widowmine medevac play.
And the bio Widowmine play, you prefer this over the other builds we've seen today. Is there any specific reason for this, or is it because of the architecture on the map and it's here, or is it just in general?
I just like the transition into bio Widowmine on 2-base instead of trying to go straight up to 3-base. I feel like it allows you to apply much more pressure on your opponent and doesn't leave you vulnerable to a lot of potential timings while you're teching up and getting your infrastructure for 3-base.
All right, well, let's hop into the replay here and take a look at the moment, the real pivot point of the game, to be honest, as Yoda loads up 3 medevacs and heads into the main.
We can take a look at PartinG's vision here, and this is really the key thing. I'm a little curious about this observer. I think it's an anti-Widowmine observer.
Yeah.
And because of that, that's the observer that would normally be, let's say, here, or potentially here. And because PartinG doesn't see this drop coming, it's able to catch him with his army basically out in the natural, which means it just takes far too long for him to get back to defend.
Especially because he has no Colossi, no Blink, and no charge, so his army is going to be really slow. If he would have like 1 Colossi at this point already, he could warp in a few Zealots and at least stall for some time until the Zealots die and have some damage output, which was not the case this time. And now the Nexus is just going to fall, even though he only has Marines, which meant it would take a little bit longer than if there were 3 or 4 Marauders in it. But yeah, and from this point on, Yoda's just in a commanding position.
Yep.
Now, Harstam, if you were in PartinG's position there, obviously that observer could have been a bit further out, but what other changes would you have made to your play in light of seeing that's how he was taken out?
I think it's just mainly like QXE mentioned, the observer not being in place. If you spot the drop coming, it's so much easier to react 5 or 6 seconds earlier. And if you react 6 or 5 seconds earlier, then you're just going to stop the drop. He has to return home, and 1 or 2 minutes later, you can take your 3rd base instead of rebuilding your Nexus.
You pointed at me, and I was like, I think I'm going to stay here, actually.
Well done very much to Yoda there. He takes a lead against PartinG, but the series is by no means finished. It's a best of 5, so it is match point, but PartinG will have an opportunity to bring it back to 2-all. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, and when we come back, game number 4 of Yoda versus PartinG. Can our Protoss level the series? We'll find out.
Nice laptop.
Thanks, it's an Ultrabook convertible.
All right, settle down. What's all this then?
It's a laptop and tablet in one.
Crikey!
Is it powered by coal and steam?
No, it's powered by Intel.
Suddenly, everything else seems old-fashioned. The Ultrabook Convertible. A laptop when you need it, a tablet when you want it.
professional-grade communication tool. The choice of professional teams. Perfect stream viewing experience. Chosen by online streamers. Easy-to-use voice messenger service. Chosen by over 12 million gamers.
Communication is always vital when competing in tournaments. Winning a match requires perfect coordination. You cannot win by yourself.
Raid Call. Communication for winners.
Be on the way in just a second between Yoda and PartinG. PartinG, I mean, it's going to be very, very tough for him here. Yoda's playing very, very strongly. And,
especially since we're playing on Newkirk City.
Yeah.
We saw some games before of Protoss there, and it's very hard to explain. Mana fell apart against all of those Medivac drops. PartinG, I mean, he lost last game, but in the first game, he took very good decisions. It wasn't going well for him, and he attacked when he had to, and he made it work. So maybe here again, as we do see Yoda on the screen right now, very focused, probably got coached a little bit by MVP, talking about build orders before the game.
Maybe. It was noticed that he was behind him, giving him maybe 1 or 2 tips here. And why not? I mean, they're on the same team. Why not help him out? As for now, we will have Yoda and PartinG loading up onto game number 4 here for the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship quarterfinal number 2. As we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner here as our blue Terran. He goes by the name of LGIM's Yoda. And spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner here as our red Protoss. 1 game away from being knocked out of the tournament. He goes by the name of SK Telecom's PartinG.
And does Yoda have a stage name?
Hmm?
Does Yoda have a stage name?
A stage name?
Yeah, like, you know, a stage name. We gave first the stage name of the magician earlier. You know, he makes SCV disappears, as Apollo said. A lot of people MC the Bostos.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Yoda does. I guess the Jedi Terran probably.
The Medivac Jedi.
Maybe so. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's out there, but for now, Mr. PartinG, Mr. Choo Choo, the Soul Train, certainly has his stage name. But can he come back here? I mean, he's 1 game down in this best of 5. He's really up against it. And as you pointed out before, Newkirk City is not the friendliest of maps here for Protoss against Terran.
Yeah, and Yoda, he has a choice here. So he's going to go again for the quick wall-off at his ramp. I'm pretty sure he's going to go for a gas. Yeah, he's rallied. Okay, so I was going to say, if he wants to outsmart his opponent and to try to fake the same strategy, he can go for 1 or 2 command center behind this. But instead of that, he's going to go for the same opener with the 1 refinery. And actually, he was going to take the right one, but in the end, he took the left one. Not sure what the difference is, as the probe here will do some zapping, as you like to say.
Some zapping. Yep. He's going to try and whale away out the supply depot. But second of SCV is on the way there to deal with that as he scoots 1 on out. So he can go for a little bit of a scout about his opponent's base. And for now, well, all he's really going to see is the standard normal style of Protoss openings since 2010.
And PartinG, he doesn't seem to like to open with 2 Vespin geysers, I mean 2 gases. He's been opening for the most part with just the 1 game on Ohana. He opened with 2 and he went for the proxy robo, which didn't end up working out. So I think here again, he's going to go for that second Nexus, and hopefully we're going to see him really try hard to defend against those Medivac drops once again. Assuming Yoda will do the same, which so far, I mean, we see the reactor going down. We should see the command center follow this up, and then a factory. I think this is actually the best build right now for Terran in Hollow the Swarm.
Yeah.
What does counter this? Maybe a fake Nexus into a 4 gates could work, and it would be okay. He's actually gonna throw down the Nexus, but there is still the chance he could cancel later on. Although I do not think so. As PartinG here, you cannot really know what your opponent has been doing, because I don't believe they watch the replays between the games. So it's just so hard for him to counter a build he doesn't know.
Yeah, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of this build as well here from Yoda, because, you know, normally when you see a Terran actually lining things up in terms of reactors and factories, you normally see them line up to the point where they finish almost at exactly the same time. But Yoda here gets 2 Marines out, maybe even 4 Marines here on this point, to just, or even 6, just to make sure that, you know, he can defend his front quite nicely, and also he can chase out this mothership core if he wants to eventually, which comes and does quite a bit of scouting for Protoss nowadays. So it's a cool little build here.
And actually, we're going to have a mine started out first from this factory. We have a starport on the way right behind this. And yeah, the mothership core should be able to spot everything here. Second refinery is on the way for Yoda. And, well, PartinG is going to have his second Nexus. He's already added on his 2 gateways. Those are going to line up pretty well with his warp gate upgrade. And behind this, he's gone for the robotics facility. He's going to want to get some detection as soon as possible. PartinG does spot both the factory and the starport, and he should know what's coming and when it will be coming, around the 7th minute.
And for now, he's just positioning one of those Widow Mines at the front, making sure that he's well defended here. As the did he actually get the starport? Sorry, my fault. Yes, he did. So he's can easily crank out a medevac and once again start going for the drops that can be oh so deadly here in Heart of the Swamp against PartinG. And PartinG, he's going to have to keep his mothership core back home. He's going to have to go for Photon Overcharge, and he's going to have his units in good positions across his base, not just in one clump at the front, but just to make sure that he can react accordingly to where Yoda is putting the pressure on.
And it looks like Yoda, he knows that the mothership core has scouted him, and PartinG will be waiting for drops in his main. So he's going to rally his medevac into his expansion here. And which way will he go through? He will actually go straight to the Protoss' base, but he might meet the one observer on the way. And PartinG, he's left all of his army in his expansion. He's only left the one mothership core in his main to defend against this medevac drop, which should be fine as the medevac does run into the observer here.
It's important to note that also Yoda was not watching his medevac at the time of crossing there, so he has not spotted that he has been spotted. As for now, Double Forge is on the way. He's trying to look around for a little bit of damage that he can do, but the sentries and stalkers are pretty well positioned, so there's going to be that one Widow Mine drop, but, you know, Yoda realizes that PartinG is well versed in defending this.
And yeah, Yoda, he was able to see the two forges here, so he knows that he's going to be safe for some time, that his opponent is going for upgrade heavy style. And Yoda is going up to 3 barracks. Every time he's done this build, he's thrown down a 3rd command center right behind this, and then added on more barracks later on.
I'm wondering if he knows that that medevac is also being tailed for now. I don't think he does, but regardless, PartinG is reacting very, very well. He has a lot of information. I think that as time goes on in this matchup, observers are going to be so, so important in terms of keeping an eye on your extremities of your base. They were important in Wings of Liberty, but because now how fast these medevacs can be, it's even more clutch.
And PartinG, again, he's going for the Robotics Bay, the Twilight Council as well. He cannot do everything at once, otherwise he's not going to be able to basically go for the good Stalker count he needs to defend against those medevacs. So he's going to have to make a few choices here, and we are going to see exactly which one in a minute here.
As for now, we still PartinG, still playing very, very defensively here, getting 1-1 on the way, whilst we have Yoda getting stim, getting combat shields, getting +1, and more gateways litter the map here for PartinG. Now that's the SimCity that can be a little bit scary for PartinG, at the very back of his natural, just in case units actually hit that. But Yoda's already moving into a very, very aggressive spot here, leading with the Widow Mine.
A nice Photon Overcharge in the main. As we were about to have an engagement in the expansion, nice force fields by PartinG. He's going to be able to defend this quite with some ease, but he's going to lose a bunch of mining time here.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit hairy. Photon Overcharge dealing with this at the natural, and meanwhile, well, ooh, he's just going to try and drop it. That Widow Mine actually shot the charge there. A second Widow Mine actually goes down thanks to the great, great vision that he has with those observers, and he still knows that it's moving around there thanks to the observer vision. So Yoda has been spotted at every single angle, and PartinG for now doing a pretty good job of defending all these spots.
The thing is, it's already very hard to defend it, but Yoda, in the same time, before 10 minutes, he starts a 3rd command center. He adds on extra barracks. He's making 1 more reactor, 1 more tech lab for those barracks. So he's going to go up to 3 tech labs, 2 reactors, and we're going to see a lot of Marauders and Marines being pumped out here. PartinG's best chance getting Storm, but I mean, he's made 1 Colossus. I really feel like it's a bit of a waste at this point, but somehow he's found enough gas to go for 2-2, and he only has 4 Stalkers.
Yeah, and he's going to push him back for now. He realizes that, you know, Yoda realizes that he cannot drop on that big a force, but Yoda mixing in those Vikings now, so we'll be able to eliminate that Colossus threat very, very quickly while there's only 1 of them. Will he overcommit to Vikings here to deal with this? But look at this. PartinG has legal map hacks. He has observers everywhere, always spotting all of these drops, and he reacts accordingly.
Yeah, and
ooh, actually, I think he might actually drop here, and he's going to go for it. A ton of the army's actually coming in, but he cannot speed away thanks to that actually being on cooldown. So PartinG once again shoos him off, but he's constantly on the defensive, whilst Yoda is taking a 3rd behind this, and there's actually nothing PartinG can do about that right now.
The 3rd of Yoda already saturated. He's going to take the gases there. He's even going to get rid of the observers. PartinG, he's halfway through down with Storm. He has 2-2 on the way. He's going to finish before the next engagement for sure. He's going to start his 3rd, and I think he's going to be adding Templars everywhere here to try and defend against those medevacs. You see, he has 3 Templars in his main. He does not want to be dropped. 3 Templars in his main, ready to feed back, ready to storm against anything that might head their way.
Yeah, and because of the fact that those medevacs, oh well, actually they've gone back to heal all their units now, but they were accruing a lot of energy. So if they hadn't have expended that, those High Templars would have been extremely efficient in killing them off. And you know, with this third going down for PartinG now, he's sort of gathering momentum himself, but still +1 shield for vehicles and ships is on the way here for Yoda. So this is going to make those Vikings super resilient to any Colossus numbers. But there's only one still, just now.
And I'm a little bit surprised by PartinG. He's adding on a couple gates, and he's gone for the level 3 armor, not the level 3 attack. At this point in the game, you know you're behind economically, and Terran is likely to hit a big timing. So,
sorry. Oh, he gets a few feedbacks there, catches 1 and 2, but that one does not end up dying. Meanwhile, pushing through the middle of the map here, looking for a little bit of a spot. Look at his macros, 170 supply to 140. This is such a strong army here from Yoda, admittedly a little bit separated.
I think Yoda realizes there is a whole bunch of Templars in the main, so they're not going to be somewhere else, and he's about to strike on the 3rd base here.
That's a lot of charge lots as well as some High Templars mixed in there, but he does have a few ghosts. I don't actually think if they're actually rendezvous with this. He's going to kill off that Colossus. That goes down. He didn't overcommit to Vikings, which is a very, very good choice here by him. And at the same time, Storm slightly clips that bio ball at the very front, just pushing him away from now. Almost preemptive Storms, making sure he doesn't push in, but still, this is a little bit hairy here. He's going to go for it once again, stimming back as best he can do, constantly kiting these charge lots here. They do have 2-2. 2-2 not finished here yet for Yoda, and that is a lot of Zealots. They're just, it doesn't matter how much he stims and kind of kites back. They're still doing the damage. He has so many forces left back here. He could easily bring these forwards, and he has the Ghosts as well to go for the EMPs.
A couple of Hellbats here should be able to tank some damage, as Yoda has his first 4 Ghosts actually ready to EMP that Protoss army. What I was going to say earlier is that PartinG, he started 3-3, which is very risky. I mean, he was already 2-2, Terran was only 1-1. You're supposed to take your time and make sure you're safe already with PartinG. With the beautiful hole at his 3rd right now, he's looking to maybe counterattack and use those Templars before there is too many Ghosts for Yoda.
Well, that scan reveals the entire position of his opponent's army. He's not going to drop any EMPs just yet. He realizes that his opponent was on the retreat, and he may have either whiffed them or they wouldn't have been of any matter whatsoever. So now he's separating a few units.
We have 2 Templars on the top left-hand side. They are being hunted down by 1 Marine and 1 Marauder. I think Yoda is aware of PartinG's style here. He knows there's going to be Templars everywhere. He's doing some de-mining, de-Templaring.
Oh yes, coming in from a flank here could be catastrophic. He lands a really good Storm there, gets a feedback as well. 2 feedbacks, in fact, with those High Templars moving on in. But there's still a lot of Ghosts rendezvousing with this army as well here. Another Storm goes down, catching quite a bit of that bio, but still Yoda powers on forwards. This bio army is not done just yet.
And PartinG is a prodigy. Managing to storm this many times against this many Ghosts should not be possible.
And it's looking a little bit hazardous here for both players. It looks like Yoda wants to push in for now. Both players very, very close to the same supply here as those High Templars trying to sneak around once again. And again, just all of these little flanks that he's trying to do with those High Templars is pivotal. If those High Templars are in the ball of Zealots, then Yoda knows exactly where to... a few feedbacks on those Ghosts there.
And PartinG is almost maxed. So is Yoda. Yoda has a little bit more supply and huge engagement.
Looks like all the Zealots going to charge in here. Well, a few AMPs do hit some of those sentries, so draining all of their energy. No force fields to pin up all of this bio against these Zealots, but at the same time, a Storm does hit quite a good portion of that bio. Another Storm actually hits it, but there's still so much power here for Yoda. He's retained so many of the units. He doesn't really have that much energy left on his medevacs, but he can constantly push in, and PartinG has to do something. If he loses this 3rd, he is really, really behind here.
Yeah, he cannot afford to lose this 3rd, but he does not want to take a fight. He cannot win, and Photon Overcharge was used. Oh, he's going to lose one of his Colossus. No, he barely saves it. The Vikings come in, and every unit of Yoda is red right now.
Oh, the 2 Colossus need to do work. They are doing. They're pushing back all of the bio during this, and the worker count is still very, very even here. So PartinG, somehow, some way, is able to save this location for now. He needs to warp in more units very, very quickly. He's warping in 5 High Templar here, trying to get that Mothership core out once again because he needs to accrue energy to try and go for the defenses later on. He's going to take a 4th up to the top left-hand corner, but Yoda is not done just yet. He is going to continue piling on this pressure, and it's really, really hard for PartinG to hold on right now.
PartinG was 3-3 during the entire last few fights, and Yoda right now, he's going to finish his own 3-3, so finally he's going to be on the same grounds as far as upgrades go, and he has more army supply. We're about to have another engagement here.
Oh, yeah, I think he wanted to EMP the mothership core there, but he realized he didn't have much energy, but that Ghost goes down straight away to a feedback there. He's still putting on pressure at this third. It could go down quite quickly, but he has to deal with this army first. One Colossus will go down just barely there in the very end, but still the bio piling on forward. Storm goes down, catching a lot of it in the process, but he doesn't have many gateway units left. These two Archons are going to get torn apart. More Archons and Zealots on the way here for PartinG. It's just back and forth. Neither player letting up here. Yoda constantly rallying forwards to try and break this location, but PartinG just keeps warping in at exactly the same manner. These Archons, they're being supported greatly here by these Zealots, and that's really going to help out PartinG. I think slowly but surely, he's going to win out this fight for now.
Yeah, the thing is, PartinG, he took a force in the meantime, so now he's going to be ahead economically, and Yoda is almost got no minerals left in his main and in his expansion, so Yoda is all in here. If he does not make this work, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. PartinG's trying to get enough Templars to stabilize and make sure he cannot be attacked.
And with Photon Overcharge now on that Nexus, I think this aggression has to cease for just a little bit. He has to kind of reconsolidate his army here, but still PartinG behind this is doing so as well. PartinG knows this is his tournament life on the line, and Yoda is slowly being starved out back at home. He has no alternate plan. Of course he can fly a command center to another base eventually, but PartinG's income right now is looking really, really good in comparison to Yoda's, and he's going for a Dark Shrine.
And you know what? He's going to do just that. He's going to fly his main command center to a force base on the top right-hand side. Yoda right now is spread out his units out in the middle of the map. He's going to wait until he has enough ghosts to be able to engage into that many Templar, because, well, PartinG has a lot of Templars.
And I think for the first time here, PartinG has now taken the supply lead in this game, just barely. But with that, so too, I mean, he gains such a good position with the composition he's making. A lot of Archons, 1 or 2 Colossi sprinkled in here. He can easily just go for some great harassment with that Dark Shrine as well. PartinG is slowly but surely eking his way forwards here against an army that's just going to be held back Ghost. It's very potent, but this army for Protoss is going to be very, very strong as well.
Yeah, PartinG finally going to research shields level 1 for his... going to be most useful on Archons. He's getting a couple Colossi. He's getting Blink. He didn't have Blink this entire game. And the Dark Shrine is about to finish. You can expect a couple DTs being warped on the top right-hand side. The Zealot is defending the pylon. He's going to defend this position for now.
Yeah, and that Dark Shrine finishing up in just a second here. So does Yoda know about that? I don't think he does right now. Nope, as that's going to be quite a hindrance to him, but he does have a few orbitals to actually throw down the scam. Pylon's going to fall, though, during all of this, so now those DTs will have to be warped in elsewhere.
And look, there is a Templar behind the trees here.
Oh, yeah.
He's playing hide and seek.
Just in case a medevac would surely fly over at some point, then PartinG can zap him down. But
oh, and the sensor tower is going to detect it. He tries to move out of the range.
Run away! Oh, he just... Well, he moves slightly out. Just a perfect spot for him as the two DTs do come on in.
They are playing at hide and seek as well.
They are. They are. Bless their little hearts. As for now, Cloaking is going down for the Ghosts as well. So... how many observers does he actually... Well, okay, he had a lot of observers from the very beginning of the game, and the DTs are going to try and find a way in here. Oh, actually, he's separating those DTs really well. This is going to be very annoying to clean up.
Yeah, Yoda, he actually steamed his entire army here, I think. Look at his army.
Oh, yeah, he did. That's a lot of energy wasted.
Yeah, just for 2 DTs, we have a couple DTs in the force base of Yoda. Actually sniping a couple SCVs, getting 10 of them in grand total, and... well, workers killed only 9 so far in this game.
And for that first stim, he only even killed 1 DT. One of them just waddled on away, and he's going to come back in later on for some more harassment. Oh, he's just going to pick them up and throw them into the main here. He could start killing off tech labs and supply depots to really... Oh, he's just going to go for that. And if he kills that, with personal cloaking on the way, that's pretty big. Personal cloaking is very, very useful in some of these engagements.
Oh, and he gets the armory as well. Before ship armor... level 3 is finished. Yeah, so important.
Pick up here, gets that Ghost Academy. Second Ghost Academy has to begin as well here. 1 DT does fall, but for the glory of Ire, apparently, as PartinG is 194 to 170. There's 14 Ghosts out right now.
Oh, he's going to catch them.
Oh, well, if he does catch them, that's going to be great for him. He just throws down a ton of EMPs, and all those Archons are going to be very, very brittle indeed.
Nice storm into those Ghosts, but... Yoda is on the chase right now. He has to be careful.
There's two Storms, two High Templars there with a lot of energy for Storms. He waddles into that one just a bit, but then does move right on back.
And the game is going to stabilize for now. PartinG is going to regroup toward his third base. He has Templars everywhere. Look, like in the middle, seriously everywhere in the top left-hand side by his potential 6th base. And I think this is the best game I've seen this tournament. It's action-packed, back and forth. You don't know who will win. And so far, both players going at it very equally. Yoda right now is trying to get as much army as possible, get a 200 army with a lot of ghosts, and just try to win a big fight one-sided.
And he's going for a Stargate as well as plus air weapons as well here. We illustrated the fact that there are 14 ghosts out with more on the way, but there's 15 High Templars on the field right now. Most of them with full energy here as Yoda tries to move forwards here with the ghosts, tries to find a good angle to actually come in on this army. But what is he going to do with this Stargate and +1? Where do you think he goes with that?
Tempest.
Tempest?
If he gets a couple of Tempest, he's going to be able to engage from so far, and then the Terran army engages to you, and then you have Templars everywhere ready to storm. A couple of Zealots here going for the bunker, but you have Hellbats helping.
Yeah, it's just trying to find a good spot here to push on in. If he kills Sense Tower, that's very nice. That's a good pickup there. A little bit of energy actually wasted on that. Interesting little time warps there.
Not too useful. I should actually suicide his Mothership Core. He's of no help. He's going to be of no help in this game.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he does.
Fleet Beacon as well as 2 extra Stargates now on the way here. So for now, PartinG is really gearing up to go into what seems to be the, in essence, the first televised super late game PVT here, and PartinG's going to show us the way.
Yoda, he needs. Oh, nice storm into those ghosts here. Going to take a lot of damage, and it looks as if PartinG is ready to engage here. I mean, he's moving very far out on Yoda's side of the map as we had another feedback and storm into Yoda's army.
The DT train, choo-choo. PartinG just continually here putting on pressure up at the 4th location here of Yoda even. And actually he's just going to try and swipe down the orbital command. But the scanners go down, will be pushed away. Another command center going down behind all of this. Extra cannons on the way for PartinG though, and this is a great choice. If he's applying pressure at the front, then there's no reason not to have these cannons just to deny any kind of little medevac drops that will be so annoying on that. And there you go. There's the Tempest now in production here for PartinG.
And PartinG is going for another War Prism in the main as he sends a DT in the 4th base. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to snipe some key production facilities, but it looks maybe some of the add-ons here in the main.
God, PartinG is in his element right now. He's just nibbling away at his opponent from the sides whilst constricting him in the middle, and then behind all of this, accruing an army that is going to make it very hard for Yoda not to engage. PartinG is going to force engagement, otherwise Yoda's going to be nibbled at in the middle as well.
And the army value right now, almost 9,000 for Yoda, 6,600 for PartinG. He's going to have to be very careful. We have so many ghosts. If he can scan, kill all the Templars, Yoda should win the fight very easily here.
Yep, 18 ghosts out right now to the 14 High Templars. The Tempests are out and about now. The Viking's going to go to work on those. He will be able to pick one of them off pretty darn quickly as the ghosts here move forwards, get a good snipe, kills off one. Nice storm there from PartinG as well. They're flanking in with a High Templar. Another storm goes down, trying to clip those Vikings. The Ghosts just leading the charge here. That is so many EMPs, but at the same time, huge engagement in the middle here. The Colossi trying to rip apart all this bio. It dissolves instantaneously here. The Ghosts, though, there's no observer in all of that. The Ghosts are cleaning up all the Colossi, and Yoda GG's PartinG ties up the series 2-2.
And Yoda had lost just too much. He lost his entire army. He had only a couple of close ghosts behind this. He knew that PartinG had a huge bank. He was already on Tempest, and there was nothing to do. His macro was good, but too aggressive, I guess.
Maybe. That was a game and a half there. PartinG really showing us how to try and deal with the Terran there whilst going for constant drops whilst you're on 2 bases. And that is going to do it for game number 4. We're going to go to an ace match in just a little bit here. But for now, we're going to send it over to the analysis desk with QXE, Harstem, and Jorasar.
Thank you very much, Kalaris. We're going into game number 5 in Yoda versus PartinG, and a very back and forth, not the absolute tip-top level of play necessarily in that game, maybe from Yoda in the middle there, but it certainly produced a very, very exciting mid-game.
I think that game was a good example of why PartinG is the better mid and late game player in this matchup. He was constantly out multitasking, out controlling his opponent. He had better map awareness, better map presence. His army was almost always passed. Once he was able to regain his foothold, his army was almost always on Yoda's side of the map somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, he had lots of pylons, lots of observers. I think he had 4 or 5 observers in the late game, and there was no way for Yoda to put any kind of pressure onto PartinG. Just the other way around.
Yep. Well, we're almost at the point in the replay we want to show. Yoda did a very good job of opening that game. He applied a lot of pressure. He was able to keep PartinG from taking a third too quickly while expanding his own and constantly increasing his supply lead.
Yeah, the only thing PartinG was ahead in were the upgrades. And we felt like he could hit some kind of timing. And right at that moment, Yoda decided to attack, hitting some kind of anti-timing, actually.
Yep. We're going to jump into the replay here. It's going to be roughly 15 minutes and 30 seconds where we can see Yoda slowly getting pushed back from PartinG after that slightly earlier aggression.
So here we do see Yoda constantly trying to kite, very low on medevacs, forced to rally back to his army. And this is the point where it does feel like Yoda is taking a bit of an advantage in that he's regrouped, his army is a bit bigger, but this is when PartinG is really able to kind of establish a presence on the map and get a little bit of counterplay into this game.
Yeah, at this point, Yoda does have a supply lead, so he could throw down a 4th base, but for some reason he doesn't, and he really wants to finish the game on 3 bases, which we didn't really agree with, especially UQXC.
Yeah, I really felt like it was kind of cringeworthy to see Yoda. He's pushing back, he was doing a good job of countering PartinG's push into the center, but behind it, there is no 4th command center, and this is really the key mistake that cost Yoda this game. As he's controlling space, as he's pushing forward, his main is starting to mine out. We have only 6 mineral patches, so 2 of them have been mined out already, and the other ones are not too long for this world.
Yeah, and he couldn't really finish the game because his upgrades just weren't good enough. 3-3 against, at this point, even 1-2 of Yoda, and PartinG was able to get into the game because of this and took his 4th base earlier, establishing the economy lead.
Right. Yoda had the economy lead up until this point, but he did not have the upgrade advantage. And there's no way to come back from an upgrade disadvantage. You have to do the best you can until the upgrades catch up. But what Yoda could have done is established a consistent supply advantage. So even though PartinG's army may be a little more efficient, it should always be a bit smaller. But not taking that 4th base means that after that counterplay back and forth, and then finally a couple good storms, the supplies equalize, the economies equalize, and PartinG has the upgrade advantage.
Yeah, completely agree with this.
No, like you said, I mean, the upgrade advantage just played so much into that mid-game, and we were mentioning how the 2-2 was finishing so quickly there for PartinG, helping him a lot in pushing those forces back. So that means that the scores are now equalized at 2-all, and we're going to go into a 5th and final game here today in the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. We're going to hop to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, guys, the epic conclusion of Yoda versus PartinG. Don't miss it.
Nice laptop.
Thanks, it's an Ultrabook convertible.
All right, settle down. What's all this then?
It's a laptop and tablet in one.
Crikey!
Is it powered by coal and steam?
No, it's powered by Intel.
Suddenly, everything else seems old-fashioned. The Ultrabook Convertible. A laptop when you need it, a tablet when you want it.
professional-grade communication tool. The choice of professional teams. Perfect stream viewing experience. Chosen by online streamers. Easy to use voice messenger service. Chosen by over 12 million gamers.
Communication is always vital when competing in tournaments. Winning a match requires perfect coordination. You cannot win by yourself.
Raid Call. Communication for winners.
Hey guys, welcome back. The final game of the day is on the way here between PartinG and Yoda. I think in the grand scheme of things, it's PartinG and Yoda. The final game, it couldn't have come to a better time than this. This series has been great so far. It's been back and forth, but we'll see who's going to take it.
And the winner faces MVP. I mean, what else do you want? It's dream matches all over the place. Will Yoda go on to face his teammate in the semifinals, or will PartinG step up and get the job done here? We are going to find out in a minute. The final map is going to be played on MVP Valley.
What a way to kick off part of the Swarm in Premier tournaments. As for now, PartinG and Yoda load up onto Into Valley. We do have spawning up to the top left-hand corner here as our Blue Terran. He goes by the name of LGIM's Yoda. Spawning down to the bottom right here as our Red Protoss battling his way back on into this series. He goes by the name of PartinG.
And a Major sent me a message on Twitter saying that Yoda's stage name apparently will be Yoda SCV Rushman, but I'm having my doubts. You know, he has such a good macro that I don't think I've ever seen him pull SCVs. I guess in his past he must have. Maybe he has you know, some kind of a past he does not want us to remember about.
I have been told by through tweets and chat that he should be known as the Jedi Vac. I don't know how you're going to pronounce that, Jedi Vac or Jedi Vac.
Yeah. Jedi Vac.
But anything to do with that is what Yoda wants, or what the chat wants. As for now, one barracks is going to go down in a proxy location here for Yoda to kick things off. So it's going to be proxy Reaper by the looks of things to start this game off.
And will PartinG scout for it? I mean, it's only cross map. A lot of players seem to be unaware of this in the tournament. It's been mentioned before. Oh, and PartinG, he goes for double gas here. He's going to have to be very careful. If he does not scout, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I expect him to go for a Zealot first, and since he went for the double gases, there is a chance he might go for a sentry behind this. I mean, if those Reapers enter his base just after he started the sentry, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Maybe. I mean, at the same time, technically, no, it's just rallies straight on in, so it probably will indeed be a Reaper. Sometimes you can see proxy marauders and things like that, but for the most part, he's actually saving up gas. Oh, there we go. So the Reaper is now on the way here to actually push on in, and behind this, well, actually, was that a really, really early barracks? Oh, okay. No. So gunning for a second barracks back home.
Exactly the same build as MVP did earlier as well. He made that second barracks back in his main and then followed this up with a command center, got some medivacs, and then from there he can go for a command center or not, depending on how much damage he does. And we're going to find out in a second here just how much. Well, PartinG, he could not possibly get his Zealot stuck there, could he? I don't think so.
Well, the SCV, having a look around, sees the second gas that's already down, sees just one guy in there. So the Reaper for now has to do some severe kiting to deal with probes and the Zealot that is on the way. But the Stalker is being chrono boosted out, so PartinG should be able to pull this back quite considerably here. As the Reaper has a little bit of a look around, trying as best he can to trap that Reaper in, but the probes didn't have any shot.
And PartinG is doing some proxying of his own. He's made a pylon up there and he wants to go for some Oracle, I believe. This might be a Stargate and Oracle play out of him, against which Yoda is not going to be ready. I mean, this is such an early Stargate, even though he was harassed. He starts it at 4:20 here.
I think the one thankful thing for PartinG, Yoda even, is the fact that he got that second barracks at home so that he can have a few Marines back there if this comes to fruition. But Yoda for now, he's still being pushed back with these Reapers. And, sorry, he's still being pushed back by the Stalker. And those Reapers, they're not really going to have too much of an opportunity to jump back in too much.
Will they go scout for potential proxies here? I mean, they're going to go in the middle of the map. Yoda knows that PartinG opened for 2 gases, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts scouting all around the place. And he's actually going to go for a mine first, which has been the standard for those LGIM players. That's going to fare very well against this Oracle play, as long as Yoda is ready. If his mines are not in position when the Oracle comes, I fear the worst for him.
Yeah, he was slightly supply blocked there. He needs that Widow mine out pretty quickly, and he needs it positioned well. But I think he might positioning it at the front, you know. It's hard to tell where he's really going to go with that, but at the back is absolutely perfect. Maybe he will go for the back after seeing the second gas already down, actually. We'll see.
And Yoda, he just jumped over the cliff here to make sure there was a Nexus being made. He sees there is no Nexus now. He's going to be sure there is some aggression coming and something proxied. So I expect him to use some mines defensively at least, just to make sure he doesn't die. And
he is
marching
toward. He's gonna position it.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be interesting. Will the Oracle actually fly straight over that? If it does, then it is going to get completely vaporized. As for now, we will see. Another Widow mine actually on the way here for Yoda as well. So he's creating a really, really strong army himself, as well as a strong defense.
Yeah, we have another mine on the way here. It should be his second one. Behind this, Yoda is going to throw down an extra barracks. The first original barracks finally flew all the way back home, and he's going to go up to 3 barracks if he can get to that. Oh, that have a big attack.
That one Reaper got actually surrounded in that main, and he's actually going to use the Oracles at the very, very front here to melt away some of the Marines. But at the same time, actually, one of the Oracles almost goes down there. One of the bunkers will just... Oh, it's so close. It's been so... Oh, the Widow Mine kills off both of the Oracles as well, and that bunker stays alive by about 3 hit points.
And Yoda, you know, the SCV count and probe count is very even, but PartinG cannot attack. What is he doing?
Oh, he's going
I think he knows he has lost. He's going to move into those mines, and he's going to take way too much damage here.
His face on the camera is distraught right now. He is 29 supply to 42. The push did not work. The Widow Mine set up, killed off the Oracles. PartinG is in tatters on that camera.
Yoda, he knows he has enough from there. He knows that that was such a huge mistake by PartinG to attack here. I think he was just going to attack and then leave, but I mean, he's going to send a probe in there to try to detonate the mines and then move in with the Stalkers, but there's just too much.
Yeah, even the Widow Mine's actually being dropped from the medevac as well that we're going to go for the aggression. PartinG trying to dance on it, and he dances the Stalkers. He knows he is done. GG! Yoda advances on as the second Terran in the round of 4.
And the second LGIM player. So
Yeah.
we can say again, LGIM.
Too true, man. Too true. This is what a series. Yoda prevails, and PartinG with a daring attempt there at trying to break Yoda. Not successful. And that means LGIM doing pretty well here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship.
Definitely, and yeah, tomorrow we're going to have actually two more of their players playing. The two Terrans qualified today. They have two Protosses still in the tournament. There will be Yonghua against Red and then Violet against First. Pretty sick matches.
Imagine if the round of 4 is a TVT between LGIM and a PvP between LGIM. They are going to be taking all the money. They're going to be like the Hamburglar from McDonald's. They're going to steal all the burgers. It's going to be a very, very interesting time to see if it happens. But for now, guys, that's going to do it from the casting desk. We're going to send it over to Rachel on the stage for a little interview.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Yoda, you look shell-shocked. How are you feeling after that best of 5?
기분이 어떤지 이겼는데.
일단 지금은 그냥 똑같아요. 그냥. 네.
Yeah, actually, it's just normal.
Yeah, whatever. You know, it's just be PartinG, whatever. You had a kind of tough time there, really big back and forth in Game 4. How frustrating was that for you, and what did you feel like you needed to do to win?
네 번째 게임에서 계속 이제 후반전 가면서 왔다 갔다 했는데 그때 느낌이 어떤지.
그때는 이미 진 걸 알고 그냥 이삭이가 끝내주길 바랬는데 이삭이가 너무 늦게 끝내가지고 그냥 네, 이미 졌다고 생각했었어요.
He thought he already knew that he couldn't win that game anymore, so he just waited to PartinG to finish the game, but somehow he took very long to finish the game.
He was just waiting. Well, when I asked MVP who he wanted to play next in the bracket between the two of you, he chose you. How does that feel, and are you excited to play him?
아까 MVP 선수하고 인터뷰했을 때는 이제 같이 이제 TBT를 하고 싶다고 했었는데 그거에 대해서는 어떻게 생각하는지?
일단 종현이 형이랑 해보고 싶었긴 했는데 뭐 이렇게 하게 된 거는 그냥 일단 결과를 떠나서 일단 지더라도 후회 안 남게만 하고 졌으면 좋겠어요. 지더라도.
Yeah, against MVP, he just wants to play a game which he won't regret after the game, whether he will win or lose.
Well, congratulations to you. You will be moving on tomorrow to play against your teammate, MVP. And we are so excited to see that match. Well, the Terran fans in the audience. Anyway, I'm going to hand it over to the expert. We're going to take a closer look at that last quick game.
Thank you very much, Rachel. What a fantastic conclusion we saw there to that best of 5. It started with a Proxy Reaper, but then also Proxy Oracles.
Yep. This is a build that we've seen a couple of times during this tournament. We saw MC use it, which I don't know if those games were streamed, but I saw it. And we also saw...
We saw it today.
We've seen it today.
Yes.
First? On Newkirk, possibly? Where
well,
the
anyway,
Oracles came back in to hit the bunker after one win.
Yeah. Yep. That was first versus Dream.
Yep.
On Newkirk City. This is a pretty interesting build. It's a kind of a similar take on the Void Ray all-in that we've seen a number of times in the past. And basically, the Void Ray has huge damage output against armored. So you use it to take down the bunkers. Once the bunkers are gone, you can kill everything else pretty easily. The Oracles have huge damage output against light. So theoretically, you use them to kill all the SCVs and all the Marines not in the bunker. Your opponent's damage output is greatly reduced because of all those extra units are dead, and the bunker is no repairing, so you can take it out with just gateway units.
Yep, and in fact, to illustrate why the attack with the Oracles may have gone a little bit wrong here, we're going to dive into the replay at approximately the 7-minute mark after we see PartinG rally those Oracles to the front.
So I'm going to put it on normal speed here, and we can pay close attention to what these oracles are really firing. So at first, killing the SCVs, no problem. This oracle actually out of energy at this point. And now instead of focus firing more SCVs, PartinG thinks that he can get the bunker dropping to almost 4 hit points, and then goes back up and is able to be repaired. And I absolutely think if that bunker had gone down, we would have seen a completely different game.
Yeah, if that one SCV would have died after all the other ones died, I think I know for sure, for a fact, that the bunker would have gone down.
Yeah, it was really just one SCV here or there that would have made all the difference.
And the oracles were there for long enough that if they were focusing the SCVs instead of the bunker, it would have been a lot more than one SCV that would have died there. You would have been able to get at least 2 or 3, and that would have made all the difference.
Yeah.
Very, very crucial point in that engagement.
And I think the reason that happened is PartinG saw that the bunker was getting relatively low on health. He knows oracles do pretty good damage, so he's like, okay, if I kill this bunker, the game ends.
Yep.
And he decides to just focus at the bunker instead of playing a little more safely by just killing the SCVs. If you kill a large number of your opponent's SCVs, even if he's got a second command center, you can still be in a very commanding position. You can transition into a winning mid-game. Basically what that would have looked like is, let's say he kills 15 or 20 SCVs.
Yep.
Stop oracle production, warp in 1 or 2, maybe 3 sentries, you turtle or camp below the ramp so that your opponent cannot move out, take your Nexus, and then start making Phoenixes. And basically, you're not going to make a lot of Phoenixes, but you're going to make a couple, and that will allow you can control the space below your opponent's main, and also use the Phoenixes to prevent medevac drops from getting out and making a big problem for you back at home. And then you transition into regular play. You go back, you establish that you've got your natural, you add some gateways, forges, whatever, and go into standard mid-game play.
Yeah, and I think if it would have gone to that mid-game, that PartinG would have won. I'm not entirely sure why he actually went for an all-in build, as it felt that his mid and late game actually was way better than Yoda's.
Yeah, I agree with that on Newkirk City, and I think this is somewhat of a pattern that PartinG has. I've seen him do it a couple of times. I remember in the GSL, he played against Center, and he played a macro game, and then he played 6-gate all-in. And it's just something that I feel like PartinG does. When he wins a macro game, the next game he will usually do some kind of 1 or 2 base all-in. And that's kind of what we saw here, and it just didn't quite work out.
No, not quite, and that means that PartinG is going to fall at this stage of the competition, but congratulations to Yoda, who goes on to face his teammate. Let's take a look, guys, at the games played so far today. That is your bracket. Of course, we have MVP and Yoda currently in the semifinals. We then have Yonghua Red and Violet First going to be starting tomorrow. Of course, we started today with Stefano versus Dream. Did you guys have a particular favorite match that you saw today?
I think it was Mana against Nurtio.
Mana Nurtio.
I like Terran.
We need more Terran. But LGIM are so thoroughly well prepared in Heart of the Swarm. This much is obvious, setting themselves up for a position where it's theoretically possible to have 4 LGIM players, the Terrans and the Protosses, as the final 4 in this tournament. That's amazing.
I think it's really interesting how we've seen the team dynamic of LGIM play out in this tournament. Generally, you don't see that many people from the same team, especially in a relatively small event that you would have to qualify for. But here we see multiple Terrans, multiple Protosses, and it is very clear when you see Yoda and then you see MVP play that they play similar styles. They've absolutely shared strategies, and this is one of the huge benefits of living in a team house. MVP's practicing, maybe he plays Heart of the Swarm, maybe he doesn't, and then one of the other players maybe comes up with a build, they share it around the whole house, and all of a sudden every Terran in the house is benefiting greatly.
Yeah, that's a great point. For those of us who might not be so familiar with the tournament culture here in StarCraft, of course, you're looking at it thinking, well, it's a 1v1 game. How can the team possibly influence that kind of dynamic? And actually, LGIM have come to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship, and they have shown exactly why being in that sort of team environment can be so unbelievably strong for your play.
Especially with the introduction of Heart of the Swarm, a brand new game in a lot of ways, but still a lot of the same mechanics. A lot of the muscle memory is very similar. There are definitely new things to learn, new things to improve upon, especially when using and fighting against some of the new units like Widow Mines and Vipers. But the core of the game is essentially the same. And so a big part of what's going to make a player now excel is not necessarily a huge amount of muscle memory or mechanical difference. It's a change in strategy, and it's knowing the new effective build orders, which we see the LG IEM Terrans doing magnificently.
We'll see if the LG IEM Protosses can also take what their Terran counterparts have done today and translate it into victories tomorrow, and if we're actually going to see that all LG IEM semi-final stage. Of course, we still have those to come. Those will be back tomorrow morning. So don't go anywhere. Make sure if you've booked somewhere away for the weekend, you better cancel your trip. It's going to be absolutely amazing tomorrow. Thank you so much to the sponsors here at the Intel Extreme Masters, of course, Intel, BenQ, and Patriot. Without them, this tournament cannot happen and bring you all these magnificent games we've shown today. This is us at the Analysis Desk, guys. We're going to be signing out now. We'll be back to you with more StarCraft action in the morning.
Hey guys, we're going to close out the show tonight with a big thank you to everyone who joined us here at Intel Extreme Masters over the past couple days. It's the World Championships, and tomorrow we have the rest of the semifinals as well as the finals and some of the quarterfinals too. Let's take a quick look at the schedule and see what time everything comes up. First off, we are going to have Younghwa versus Rhett, followed by First versus Violet, a semifinal, MVP versus Yoda, another semifinal decided, and then it's the grand final. Make sure you don't miss any of it. You can go to intelextrememasters.com and check out the schedule right there on the site. Don't forget to talk to us on social media. You can catch us at twitter.com/IEM, and don't forget your hashtag IEM. Carmack, the players, the casters, anyone here could respond to you, so join in the discussion. We're happy to have you. Don't forget we also have a raid call group, 1997. And Facebook, where you can go and vote for the Sick Nerd Baller of the tournament. We'll see you bright and early at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Enjoy the games.